about it, no one who ever accomplished anything significant knew exactly how they were going to do it when they set out. And you know, a lot of us, one of the main things that's holding us back from accomplishing our goals or kind of living that authentic life that I talked about before is we don't know how it's going to happen. We don't know how to do it. And we get so caught up in how is this going to happen, how are we going to do it, that we never do anything. And so what we have to do is forget about the how and focus on the do. The how is understanding how, it's never understood going forward. How is only understood looking from the present backwards. You're never going to understand exactly how looking at the future because it hasn't happened yet. You are going to have to discover and develop the how along the way. And that's what holds a lot of people back. That's what stops a lot of people from ever doing anything, is because they say, well, I don't know how to do it, so I just won't do anything. Well, then that's just where you sit. That's just where you stay in life. The people who always are trying to figure out, how am I going to do this, never really get around to doing very much. I once heard Dave MacArthur of Mechanic to Millionaire give a talk one time, and he said, the how is none of your business. And I believe that that's 100% dead on accurate. If you think about it, look at some of the people who have accomplished great things. Look at the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers, they believed that powered manned flight was possible, but they didn't know how to do it. If they would have known how to do it, they would have taken one airplane out there, one set of parts, and on the first try they would have lifted off and flown. But that's not what happened. So they had this idea of something that was true, something that they believed in. They didn't know how to do it. And so they set out and they experimented and they gained experience. And then their experience allowed them to see things that they hadn't seen from the beginning. And they learned, and bit by bit, they finally discovered how to do it. But they didn't know how to do it when they set out. We've all heard the famous quote by Edison where he says, talking about the light bulb, I didn't fail, I found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb, or 10,000 ways that didn't work. He only needed to find the one that worked. And if he would have worried about how am I going to do this? I don't know how to make a light bulb, and so I'm going to wait until I know how before I try. Well, we'd all be running around with candles still. And so don't get caught up in the how. Forget about the how. You're not going to know how you're going to solve the problem or how you're going to achieve your goals. The how comes along as you're out there working towards it. So forget about how and just be. And when I say be, I mean BEE. BEE stands for believe, energy, and effort. Because what you're going to have to do is when you forget about the how and you go to work, find something that you believe in, a desired outcome that's a goal or something that you're trying to accomplish or discover, whatever it is that you believe in. But if you're just sitting around, well, I believe in this, but I don't know how it's going to happen, that's all it is. It's just a hope, and it'll never happen. When you take belief and you add energy and effort to it, that's when amazing things can happen. And it's not going to happen the first time or the second time. It might take 10,000 times to do it. But if you continue in your belief and you put your energy and effort into it, you will find the how as part of that journey to that end goal that you're after. The how, you will figure it out along the way. As a police officer, every day is different. Every call is different. It's different people, different dynamics, and usually it's pure chaos. Now, we never know how we're going to deal with the situation, how we're going to solve the problem as we're driving to the problem. We don't know how it's going to turn out. But you get there and you take one step at a time, and what you're looking for is you're looking for patterns. And everything is an experiment. And you try something, if it doesn't work, you back off, you look at your experience, you try something else. And what happens is that you gain experience along the way. And the experience shows you things or gives you a different perspective that you didn't have in the beginning. And that's how you learn, is bit by bit. And even though you don't know how it's going to turn out, by getting in there and doing it, you're gaining experience, you're learning things along the way that allow you to see things from a different angle that you didn't see before, and it allows you to take that next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, until you finally solve the problem or accomplish your goal, whatever it is. But we get so hung up on how it's going to happen that a lot of us fail to even proceed, or because we have to step into the darkness. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. But if you're not willing to step into the darkness, you're never going to go anywhere in life. You're never going to do anything. Because if all you're going to do is stay in your comfort zone, then that's just where you'll be. You have to expand out of that. You have to take some steps into the darkness, into the unknown, and then once you get there, you'll be able to see a little bit further. And you keep going until you see a little bit further. That's how things really come together and happen in this life. Here's another interesting thing looking at how. You don't have to know how something benefits you in order to be benefited by it. I mean, how many of us, let's say we go to the doctor, we're sick, he says, I'm going to prescribe some antibiotics to you, go home, take these for a week, and you'll be good. How many of us really know how those antibiotics work? I don't. I think probably very few of us actually know how they work, but we believe that the doctor knows what he's doing or she's doing, and so we have that belief. We go home, we take them, they do their thing, we don't know how, but they get rid of the sickness in our body, and we're returned to health, we're healed. So you don't have to know how it works. Most of us don't know how most of the things in our life work. I mean, do you know how your phone works? I don't know. I know it sends out a signal, bounces off a tower somewhere, and connects me with the person I want to talk to. But exactly how that works, I don't know. If I worried about how things work before I used them or brought them into my life, well, I mean, I'd have nothing. I'd use nothing. Another thing that we get caught up in is asking why. Why should I do this? Why shouldn't I do that? Why do we do it this way? Why don't we do it that way? We're not really asking why. What we're asking is how. When we say, why should I do this? What we're really saying is, how does this benefit me? Or why shouldn't I do this? How does this harm me? That's what we're really asking. And we have to kind of step back and check ourselves and say, does it matter? If I believe that this action will get me closer to my goal, I don't have to know how, I just have to do it. And it's an experiment in a lot of things. We all know today that resistance training or weight training will increase and build muscle and your physical capacity, your physical muscles. We all know that. And it's been documented, and scientists have all studied it, and they can explain exactly how it works. But again, most of us don't know really how it works, but we know that it does. And so we can go and lift weights and become stronger. But where did that begin? I mean, who was the first person to figure that out? And it's probably some guy in the village is over there like pushing up rocks, and everyone goes, that guy's nuts, he's crazy, he's just over there pushing up rocks for no reason. But it doesn't matter if he knew how it worked, it just works. And so don't get caught up in waiting to figure out how your goals are going to be manifested, how you're going to achieve what you're trying to achieve, how your business is going to work. Just believe, put in your energy and effort, and as long as your belief is strong enough and you keep applying your energy and effort, you will figure out how. And when you're done, you will look back and know how you did it. But you're never going to know how to do it going forward. So just believe, energy, and effort, and go do it.